Rockstar gang, what up? What up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button as you're coming in. If you're watching on Twitter, you know what to do. Simple, easy. Just come over to the YouTube channel, like, and subscribe. That's it. So, day 3 of free agency. Day 3 of free agency, man. Jeff R., what up? What up? What up? What's good, man? Basically, it's Wednesday. We're at the halfway mark of the week. Got up this morning, got that pump in, and had a good breakfast. Got some work done before I came on here. Then came on here to get some other work done. You know? Yeah, thumbs up. So that's pretty cool. Have y'all ever seen this one? The laser show. And then if you go like this, I think it does something. Yeah, balloons. Thumbs down. I think thumbs down. Brain. So you get a bunch of different ones. You get a bunch of different ones with the MacBooks now. Yo, low-key, I'm excited with these moves. The Rockstar thing. Yeah, you get a bunch of different ones. So if you do the the rock and roll sign, it does a light show. If it does the thumbs down, rain, thumbs up, balloons. I think if you do thumbs up like this also, yeah, does the like thing. So that's kind of cool. Went to a few Steelers podcasts last night. They're pissed about losing Deontay Johnson. Yeah, Jeff R. is pretty cool. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So let's get into it. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's do it. Let's do it right. Let's do it right. First things first, let me go on a rant real quick here because I feel like we've got some Panthers fans out there that are just like it's like you want your cake and eat it too. You want a Pro Bowler. I wanted a Pro Bowler. You sound like a baby, man. Brian Burns is not an elite pass rusher. Get it through your thick head. If you want to blame anybody about this whole ordeal with the Brian Burns, because that's all I see on Twitter is people still complaining about the whole Brian Burns situation. They continue to complain. They say this is not a rebuild. So what do you call it? Because it ain't a retool. It is a rebuild. They got out with the people that didn't want to be here. Dan Morgan did say, even though he said he wanted dogs, he also wanted guys that wanted to be here. So please, for all you Panthers fans, all you content creators that are Panthers fans, if you're listening and tuning in, listen to me now. Brian Burns is a top 15 pass rusher in the NFL. He also is not worth $30 million. Also, you got to understand that the guard market is a lot higher price than some other markets. Well, they went to go with Robert Hunt over Brian Burns. Right, because what the hell happened last year with your quarterback, your rookie quarterback, who got sacked 62 times over 40 pressures? What did Brian Burns do? Go look at DJ Wanum's stats and go look at Brian Burns' stats. They're basically the same damn thing. Well, Brian Burns doesn't have any help. Well, you can say the same thing for Daniel Hunter. You could say the same thing for TJ Watt. You could say the same thing for, I don't know, Will Anderson. You could say the same thing for a lot of other defensive ends that are better. Go look at the win rate off of ESPN. He finished 11th. Go look at his PFF. He finished 37th. Well, he was injured. Well, he was didn't want to get hurt. At the end of the day, Brian Burns didn't do his job to help his situation. He did not help his situation by not performing and not stepping up. Okay, even for a 2-15 team. Okay, whether you like it or not, when you have working for a money contract deal, you're still supposed to do your job at the end of the day. People go, well, I don't understand the Bradley Bozeman thing. I do, because the man allowed 8 sacks last season. And he also allowed the most pressures on the offensive line. Well, people talk about the Taylor Moton thing. Taylor Moton was actually the most consistent offensive lineman we had last year. And you can make the case for that. Then people are complaining about Frankie Luvu. Frankie Luvu had a deal sent to him on the table, if you want to believe it or not. And he chose not to take it because he chose to play for Dan Quinn. It's official. That is what it is. That is officially what it is. I've already seen reports about it. We offered him basically the same contract. We actually offered him more money, but he chose to go play with Dan Quinn. Okay? Can we please stop complaining because of the guys that aren't here anymore? Okay? People will come here. People will come here and stay here if they want to play here. Simple, easy as that. That's the way it is. So accept the rebuild, because we've already made some big moves in the early days of free agency. Their focus is obviously building within the trenches, whether you believe that or not, right? They've already signed key players, including Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis, defensive tackle Sean Robinson, linebacker Josie Jewell. These signings make it abundantly clear to me that the Carolina Panthers' intent are on dominating the trenches, not some outside linebacker. And it's not hard to see why. And I don't understand why it is for others to see why. Because you know why it's so hard for other Carolina Panthers fans and other content creators for them to see the vision, what's going on here, is because they're so player happy. They're so into the player, the person, that like it's their family, like it's their brother, like they broke bread with them or something. Like, what are we doing here? This is the NFL. The NFL is a business at the end of the day. If you're an owner and your employee isn't doing its job, what do? You fire him. It's the same thing. Now, was Brian Burns not doing his job? I'm not saying that, but did he perform to the level that we would want to pay $30 million? No, he didn't. Frankie Luvu, that's a different story. I would say that guy deserved another contract, but we gave him a contract. We actually offered him more money than Washington, and he wanted to go play for Dan Quinn. It's simple as that. But it's so hard for all these Panthers fans to understand the clear vision here. And I just don't understand why it's so hard for that. Because, again, we have Panthers fans that are obviously player. What's the word I guess you could say? Player obsessed? Player obsessed, maybe? I mean, maybe that's the word that it is. Player obsessed. Maybe they're obsessed with the players. Guys, I'm going to get to your comments. Don't worry. But the problem is again, I can see the vision here. It's abundantly clear that their intent is dominating within the trenches, whether you believe that or not. And I just don't understand why it's so hard to see why. But again, it's because I feel like some of these guys are player obsessed. And it's no hard feelings to Brian Burns. We messed with his money too long. And he checked out. And that's clear. Frankie Louvu, again, we offered him a big contract. He wanted to go play for Dan Quinn. That's clear. Okay. But last season was one of the rough seasons I've ever seen, and one of the league's worst offensive performance I've ever seen in 2023. The biggest issue, what is the biggest issue here in Carolina? The need for quality interior offensive linemen. And guess what Dan Morgan and Brant Tillis did? They went out and got it. But yet, let's still complain because Brian Burns and Frankie Louvu aren't here. Bradley Bozeman, Dante Jackson aren't here. Von Bell, Jeremy Chen aren't here. Yetter Gross Matos, not here. But even the most talented quarterbacks would have struggled under the immense pressure that the Carolina Panthers rookie quarterback Bryce Young faced regularly. Get that through your thick head. The Panthers they're trying to turn this thing around. Hunt and Lewis are top-tier guards who have proven themselves in this league and are sure formidable duos for the Panthers. With Canales' lineman-friendly scheme that he's already coming up with, they could absolutely be a force on the field. But the Panthers are not just loving the offensive line. Ashawn Robinson is a beast of a defensive tackle who will be a valuable addition to this Carolina's defense. You know what he's going to do? He's going to help take pressure off. He's going to be the guy that they double team. And guess who's going to go after the quarterback and break bread there and make his bread there? Derek Brown. And the Carolina Panthers right now, if that's going to be the case with bringing in O'Shawn, you got to, and that if it pans out the way I think it's going to for Derek Brown, you better sign Derek Brown down now before his value shoots through the roof. Okay. Josie Jewell is a solid linebacker, and he will shore up the middle of the field. Overall, it's a solid start to the free agency period for the Carolina Panthers. And if you can't see the vision here, get off the fucking train. All right? Get off the Carolina Panthers train. If you don't see it, you're not a true fan. Because here's the thing, if they continue to build up their trenches, they may just find themselves in a not this coming season, but it could be a possibility in next season. Depending on the whole Bryce situation, they could be a very good football team that wins a lot of games. But again, you also as fans have to see that because Dan Morgan and this regime are taking over the reins. They're embarking on an investment to transition and bring stability to this franchise that has struggled. I mean, you get two top-tier offensive linemen, Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis. That move was expensive, but as they say, good players don't come cheap. However, that acquisition came at a cost of the defensive firepower, which might need to sit better with some fans. Again, Morgan and Tillis have inherited this big mess. That's what this was. It's a big mess. And on our mission to minimize that damage until things are stabilized. Tough decisions are made to ensure long-term financial flexibility. It may sting in the short term. Fans can take that incompetent previous regime for that. That's what you could do. If you want to be mad at anybody, thank that incompetent previous regime for that. Not the one that's currently doing its job. Finally doing its job, and it is allowed to do, as of right now, it seems like is allowed to actually handle the football operations without a bald-headed son of a bitch getting involved. As of what we're seeing for right now. Now, if that's we don't know behind closed doors. And again, we'll find out further. The Panthers are transferring this investment from defense to offense side of the football. That's basically what I'm seeing. Even though it is still building within the trenches, I believe, but this shift is evident, especially in their recent moves. The defense has been decimated, and it remains to be seen who will stay, who will go with a plethora of free agents. All right. There's no telling who will, if there's no telling if anybody else will return. But the Panthers are finally rebuilding. But the time is of essence, whether you like it or not. Bryce Young is already 1 year into his rookie deal and has 2 seasons left before becoming an extension eligible. The clock is ticking, and if those in power figure things out, if the clock, the thing is that what I'm trying to get at is this. I was tripping on my words there. The clock is ticking. And if those in power figure things out slowly, it's easy to see where complications could arise. Now, here's another thing. Morgan will make more signings, but his work is cut out for him. The Panthers are not precisely the most attractive destination right now after losing 2 established figures. I will say that. But the offensive coordinator is not planning for the team to be among the bottom feeders for much longer, hopefully, because it's hard to examine the decisions made since both assuming positions of power did not think it would take time. But the Panthers only have a little time left to maximize Young's contract, right? Which means that Tillis is taking some strict measures to establish that respectability in the football operations. And the short-term financial hits Carolina is willing to take will help them in the long run. And that remains to be seen if that translates into the success on the field, right? This rebuild has been a long time, and many feel it should have happened. And I'm one of the many that felt that this should have happened earlier, because for the past 3 to 5 years, what has this team done? They've retooled. This is not a retool. This is a actually rebuild. Out with the old, in with the new. Okay? However, you still have to add veteran presence, and everybody's like, well, Josie Jewell and O'Shawn and Deontay Johnson and Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis, these guys aren't that young. You still have to have a veteran presence. We didn't have that last year. What were we working with on the offensive line? All developmental talent. Same thing on the defensive side, basically. But Evero made it work. But however, now is better late than never. I mean, the Panthers have been a complete mess in recent years, and they become the butt of jokes among the national media. Nonetheless, there's nowhere to go but up from here. The rebuilding is the only way forward. And if it means that further struggles come along, then so be it. But the quicker that Morgan's grand plan for growth starts paying dividends, when the quicker the Morgan's grand plan of growth starts paying dividends, the better, especially if Young pans out to be that franchise guy, right? They gave up so much for that kid in the 2023 draft. But time will tell if the Panthers' investment transition will pay off. But for now, we have to keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best, because with the new regime at the helm, there's no reason to be optimistic about the future. But it will take time, patience, hard work. Again, some of you guys out there have to get over this Brian Burns and Frankie Louvu shit, man. We're in a new era. Get over it. Holy crap. I've got so many messages. Oh my God. Do you think we'll make a move today or tomorrow? I'm sure I won't be. I'll be surprised if we don't make any more moves today. 100% rebuild. Got a new weapon. He sure did. Good Lord, y'all. I did not. Sorry. I went on a rant and then all y'all in here Hen, what's up? I appreciate you joining the live stream. Everybody's in here. Mad Chatter, Josh, Kyrita, Rockhead. Who else am I missing? Jeff R is in the building. Mr. Unapologetics in the building. Lomax is in the building. Shout out to you, Josh, Hen Brown. MDJ is in the building. AJ Brooks is in the building. Jeff R said, "Preach." You must have liked what I was speaking facts there. Tell me when I'm wrong. You know what I mean? What we had wasn't working clearly. A new vision of the team cannot bring us down. We are already at the floor. Exactly, MDJ. But some people, just so like Burns is gone. Frankie Luvu's gone. Get the fuck over it. Grow up, you freaking obsessive player obsessive fans. It's the same thing in the real world, just like it is in the NFL. It's a cruel world. If you're not bringing up, if you're not on the train, if you're not on the full rebuild train, because that's what this is. If you believe it or not, and you don't see the vision, then hop off the train. Hop off the train. It's a new time. It's a new place. It's a new regime. Get over it. Brian Burns, Frankie Louvu are gone. Jeremy Chin's gone. YGM's gone. Dante Jackson's gone. Bradley Bozeman's gone. Sorry. Hit that like button or lose your points on your credit score. Exactly. Smash that like button. Smash that like button. Like Johnson pick up a really opening monologue. Guys, I'm trying to keep up with all of y'all. What's up, DC? James Allen's in the building. Chad Howe's in the building. Supernova's in the building. Brandon McCullen's in the building. Oh my God, y'all are killing it on the chat today. Clay, can you be front office, Clay, for a question I have for you? Sure. Hit me. I will be professional. Should I go get my suit on? Should I go get my suit and put it on, Kyrito? How can we bring it worse than last year? You can't. All right. The roster isn't as bad as it seems. Let's hope here's the thing. You get a DJ Wanum, you bring in a Clowney. You got two guys last year that had one guy had the same amount of sacks than Brian Burns. You got another guy that is 31 years old. You're only going to sign him for a 1-year deal. You still get an extra pass rusher. So now you have two pass rushers. And that guy had 9.5 sacks last year. So more than Brian Burns. You know, you get a Chase Young. If you get a Chase Young instead, guess what happens? If it's me, I go DJ. As much as I'm a Clowney fan, as a Gamecock fan, give me Chase Young. I will take the chance that he could stay healthy and reliable because he's a perfect fit for this 3-4 scheme at the outside linebacker position. And if he can stay healthy, he can be dominant. But give me DJ Wanum too, because he's young, right? I think he's only like 26. So he's only been in the league for 5 years. I would take him too. And you pay those guys cheap. Did we pick anybody up today? As of right now, I haven't seen any news. Right now. Oh, man. Okay, so if anybody's having trouble joining the Discord, I'll have to edit the link. I think Jalen, I think I got your message on Twitter. I just saw it. My bad, man. I'll fix the link today. So no worries. Clay, you're GM of the Warriors. They look like they need a rebuild like the Panthers, but Steph Curry refused to let you trade away on your rebuild or chase fifth ring. I mean, I just don't think for me, I haven't watched a lot of basketball this year. I'll be honest with you guys. Because I just feel like basketball this year is just ass, in my opinion. That's just me though. That's just me. But um, but if I'm the Warriors, I mean Curry's. I mean, how much longer is Curry gonna play? I mean, he's still balling out, but still, I don't know, man. That's a tough question, Kyrie. I haven't watched enough basketball to answer that question. If it's me, I try to get rid of Draymond and Clay, and I do the rebuild. I mean, that's what I would do. I just don't see them. I've watched enough basketball to know and seen the Warriors play this year. They need a rebuild. That's just it. That's just me, though. Some people might disagree, but time to out with the old, in with the new. I just don't see them winning another chip with Thompson and Green. All right, let's go over some. We lost Marquise Haynes too. I'm pretty sure he's a free agent. Right as of right now, he's still a free agent. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. We're gonna talk about Mr. Amir Smith-Marsette. We signed him yesterday, folks. Well, we re-signed him, I should say. That we have signed him to a 1-year contract. We acquired him back last year in the Kansas City trade. Last summer, he quickly showed some flashes of brilliance. He contributed in the punt game. Very versatile. You could run a lot of jet sweeps with them. He's that pre-snap motion guy. He can kind of do all. He's got the speed. He started building some chemistry too. It seemed like with Bryce Young. And obviously he's even been vocal about wanting to be here. So it's many moving parts with the quarterback play and stuff like that his capabilities. And I want him to be a part of this team. I feel like he connected with Bryce on the field, and he can see what he sees, and he sees what they see, and that's basically what he came out and said too. Luckily for Smith and Young, we'll have the opportunity to hit each other on the field and hang out, and hopefully, build that chemistry even more. I mean, the Panthers are looking to build on their success or build off some of the success that they had at the very minimal that they did have last season. I'm glad to have Amir Smith-Marsette back. I'm happy to be back. And then, there was a heartfelt message to Panthers fans that the news of his return broke, and he said that exactly where I wanted to be. And I mean, who can blame him? I mean, we have a passionate fan base. I will give us that. But the top notch. I think now we have a really better coaching staff, a more promising coaching staff. You got a promising young quarterback who has some upside. Smith is young. He's already made more stops than he has seasons in the NFL. However, with his talent and determination, it's clear that he could be a bright future for him here. Who knows? So I keep an eye on him. I like ISM and what he brings to the table. He definitely has a lot of versatility there, right? It's kind of like a Laviska Shenault, but with, I would say, more speed. I'm drafting wide receiver Ricky Pearsall after the trade yesterday. He's the same size as Liggett. Josh, I'm not getting in this argument with you today. I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it. I refuse. All right, let's talk about Mr. Screw it. We'll just put this up. Let's talk about Mr. Ashawn Robinson from yesterday. I didn't really get to talk about him very much. I mean, I know I posted a short about him, but I didn't really get to kind of give you my thoughts on him. Obviously this team is making big moves as of right now, right? We're in that rebuild mode. It is what it is. But this guy, after watching some tape on him, I took a few notes about him, and I'm going to give you some insight on this guy a little bit here. And I'm pulling up the notes that I took on his game film last night and what I've seen. But anyways, big move to get this guy. I thought adding him was a much needed to our defensive line, because what is one thing that the Carolina Panthers were not very good at last year, that Brian Burns was not very good at? Oh, I know, stopping the run. So you get a guy like a Sean Robinson. Okay, what is he exactly as a defensive tackle? Well, if you go watch his game film, he's the guy that takes the double teams. He's a space eating tackle. So he's going to take up the blockers. Guess who that allows to thrive? Derek Brown. There's a method to the madness that I think Dan Morgan and Canales are doing here with this signing. Okay. Evero is probably loving this signing as well because of how he's going to use him. But it was a 3-year deal, $22.5 million deal. Spent some time in LA with the Rams. And obviously Evero was the big advocate on adding him. This guy's 6'4", over 330 pounds. He plays every inch of that gigantic size and is known for the ability to stop what? Guess what he's able to do? Guess what he's able to do, guys? He's able to stop the run. He's able to stop the run. You and Dunk. Leave me alone, Josh. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. What up, Jacob? But again, that's what he's good at. So after watching his game film last night, watching some of his highlights, he tallied up last year, or not last year. It was 2020, which that's not his stats from 2020. That's from last year's stats right there. But in 2020, he's had over 62 tackles. Okay. Second highest number of his career. He counted for 6 tackles for his loss, a career high. And while he last sacked an opposing quarterback, it's been about 2 years. His impact is mainly the run game, right? And that's his thing. He's not going to be a guy that's going to get you all these sacks, right? Basically, he's going to be the Derek Brown when we were running that 4-3 defense. Basically, he's going to be the Derek Brown to Brian Burns, which now he's going to be the Derek Brown and Derek Brown's going to be Brian Burns. Kind of, if you get what I'm getting at. But either way, if that makes sense. But again, yeah, a great signing, I thought. Build a solid team from the ground up. It's clear, like I said, it's clear that Dan Morgan and Dave Canales believe that the games are won in the trenches. And that was the reason why they went with this guy. In just 2 days of free agent, they've just invested of millions of dollars in trench players, if you think about it, between Damian Lewis and Alshon Robinson and Robert Hunt. They're trying to establish a new identity. That's what they're trying to do. So what does it mean for this team's future? Well, for starters, it means that Carolina is serious about competing again, right? And the Panthers need to be firing on all cylinders to be able to compete again in the NFC South now, because look at Atlanta. Adding Robinson to this defensive interior is a bright signing, and it allows, again, it's going to allow Derek Brown to shine even more, right? I think this is going to be a formidable duo on the line. I think it's going to make it difficult for opposing teams to run the ball against the middle. And it's a strategy I think that could pay off at big time for the Panthers, especially if they can continue to add talent on both sides of the ball. Overall, Alshon Robinson was a smart move for the Panthers. Again, he brings the size, the strength, experience to this team that we need. So I like this signing. I like this signing a lot. Third day in a row watching your stream. Keep it up. You got some good content. I appreciate that, Riverboat. I appreciate that. I try to get all to y'all's comments. I know that a lot of y'all are commenting, so I try to get to them. If I don't get to them, just comment again or just say something else. I don't know. I'm trying to keep up because there's like 125 of y'all in here. Between 76 on Twitter and 49 of you on YouTube, I'm trying to keep up. So I'll do the best I can. All right. Still want Corbett waived. I know you do, Bad Chatter. You are very vocal about that. I'm very pleased with all of the moves made except the Ian Thomas deal. Everything else was A+. Peyton is like me on that Ian Thomas thing. I feel that Brown and Robinson is an improvement on a rebuild. Total still there for depth for sure. I hope we sign Chase Young or the edge rusher from Minnesota that visited today. Yeah, I know when I posted my short, I said this week. I should have just said today. Twitter, get over to YouTube, at least a thumb, which he basically what Matt Chatter is saying. If you're watching on Twitter, come on over to the YouTube channel and hit that thumbs up button. That's what he's saying. All right, let's move on to the next guy here. Josh Jewell. Let's talk about him real quick. Took some notes on him last night as well, watching his game film, some highlights of him, which is great. The moves that we've made is so surprising to me. I mean, yesterday, they shifted their focus. They definitely went out to get a linebacker because to obviously replace Frankie Louvu. Is this guy going to replace Frankie Louvu? I mean, you can go look at his stats. All right, so here's the thing. Let me you know what? Let me use PFF instead of my Twitter feed here. Let's do this. So let's go look at Frankie Louvu's stats real quick. All right. Go look at it here. All right, so there's Frankie. Obviously, the gradings are better. Stats, probably 10 times better. Again, this is a thing that you're just not going to get. You're not going to get the same value out of a guy that is just a different player. Now, again, so you got Frankie Louvu, okay? So you see Frankie, this is Frankie Louvu, okay? This is his stats from last year, 84 solo tackles, 68, 38 assisted tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 47 run. I'm pretty sure stops is run stops. 7 sacks, 22 missed tackles, passer rating allowed. So when he was in coverage, he allowed a 107.6. Now let's go look over at Josh Jewell. 67 to 84. 33 assisted to 38. 2 forced fumbles to 2 forced fumbles. 33 stops to 47 stops. 3 sacks to 7 sacks. I will say this. Only 9 missed sacks to 22 only 9 missed tackles to Frankie Louvu's 22 missed tackles. All right. But if you look at and then of course the 110 passer rating to Louvu's 107. Now if you go look here, look at the snap difference. Okay, his snaps, Frankie Louvu's snaps was 463 in run defense, 104 in pass rush snaps, 422 in coverage snaps. If you go to Josie Jewell, what is this guy known? What is he more for? He's a run defender and he's a pass coverage defender. He's not a pass rusher. So he's going to play in the inside more for with Shaq. He's a guy who's going to fill his gap or he's going to drop back into coverage with the tight end. That's what he's going to do. All right. So they're different players. That's what I'm getting at here. Okay. So people are like, well, we got this Josie Jewell to replace Frankie Louvu. Josie Jewell's a different player. He's not taking the same snaps. He's not doing the same things that, Frankie Louvu was doing. He's playing a different style of ball. Because they pass rushed more with Frankie Louvu is what I'm getting at. Yeah, did he do the same jobs in the run game? Sure. Did he do the same jobs in pass coverage? Sure, but Frankie Luvu was also used more in the pass rush. That's really the only difference in Josh Jewell or Josie Jewell, and I think his name's Josie. I don't even know. Josie Jewell and Frankie Luvu. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this guy's name right. Chase or Clowney. For me, Matt Chatter, I would like to take a chance with Chase, see if he can stay healthy, and if he can be dominant in this 3-4 defense. Since we're getting 2 edge rushers in free agency, we definitely would pick up 2 edge rushers and I'm sorry, Zach. You meant we definitely are picking up 2 edge rushers in free agency? Probably. Okay. Yeah, I saw that. Malik Collins traded to the 49ers from the I think it's the Texans. Let me see. Yeah, from the Texans. And then, I saw the Morgan Moses pickup from the Jets. And then Ravens released Tyrus Bowser. Some decent blocking tight ends and new linemen. We get some good run blocking for sure. Do you think it's a legitimate chance that we get Higgins for the 39th and maybe a 4th? Cardiac Cats, 1987. I don't want T. Higgins anymore. I don't. I think that we need to keep it young. I think that if we're going to do a full rebuild, I know that T. Higgins is not that old, but I'd rather just take a chance and not have to worry about paying T. Higgins a big money contract later on than taking a chance on a 1 or 2 wide receivers in the draft that if they pan out, I get 3 years out of them on a rookie deal, and then I don't have to re-sign them until after their 4th year. So I'm off the T. Higgins train. Right? Right, Matt Chatter? People are bitching about that. They want us to pay for more missed tackles. Yeah, no. Again, they don't realize, Vietnam, that for some reason they just truly believe, because they don't go out and do their research. Some of these content creators and Panthers fans don't go out and do their research, but they don't realize that Frankie Luvu was offered a bigger contract from us, but he wanted to go play elsewhere with Dan Quinn. Simple, easy as that. Yeah, we'll talk more about that. This was a very good trade. This is actually a trade we fleece a team instead of a team fleecing us, which is crazy. That's why I don't watch mainstream media, man. I don't watch ESPN. I don't watch Stephen A. Smith. The only person I actually like watching and listening to is Pat McAfee. That's it. Like, I don't listen to, I do like Shannon Sharp, though. I love Shannon Sharp. I think him and Ocho Cinco, their podcast, that shit they crack me up. But I do like Shannon Sharp a lot. His podcast cracks me up. Him and Ocho. Oh my God. Love me some Shannon Sharp. But I just don't listen to like Stephen A and those guys. I just don't listen to ESPN anymore. They got too many people on there talking football that's never taken a snap of football in their life. They've never taught a quarterback how to do a 3-step drop. And neither have I. But I've actually done my research and done my homework, and I've actually studied the game and understood schemes and what a 3-step drop is and what a 5-step drop is, right? Hell, there's even a 7-step drop I didn't even know about. I just learned about the other day. I just learned about the other day that on quick screen passes, they don't put the ball, they don't try to, when the ball's hiked to them, to quarterbacks, they don't try to put their hands on the laces. They just learn how to throw the ball without the laces. Just learned that the other day. Like, I go out and I actually watch game film and I learn, and I read the how to be in a, I read like a football book for dummies, basically. Like, go and do your homework. Down. Alex Smith. Who? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, that's just what I'm saying. 29-foot drop by Bryce the last year O line. That because he couldn't see over the O line. Football for Dummies was a good book. Hey, you got to start somewhere, man. Other than that, I've just gone online. Hell, I've learned a lot from the QB school. That guy, I've learned a lot about quarterback play from him. I've also read some other books. And then I'm still learning. So it's like, it is what it is. Now the next thing is trying to understand the financial constraints in the NFL. That's the biggest thing. I hope we draft a center this year. I think we will, Zach. I think we will. I still think they're going to get a center in this draft. They might be now. Now, after getting this left guard and right guard thing, they might not get a center. Football for Dummies was a good book. Alex Smith knows what's up. Why was Eagles fan wanted Jewel? Who is he? I don't know. I don't know, Matt Cheddar. Draft a center, yes. All right, so let me get back to what I was talking about. Let me finish my take on Josie Jewell, though. Obviously, right, we were just talking about Sean Robinson, who's a big run stuffer, right? Obviously, bolstering that defensive line, going to help out Derek Brown shine. Sign Derek Brown to an extension now before that actually happens. So they signed him, $22 million, $22.75 million deal for the next 3 years, $7 million signing bonus, and a $10 million fully guaranteed at the signing. It's a lot of money, but the Panthers believe in this guy. He's a versatile player who can do it all. Like I said, in 2022, he had his career highs in tackles. He had 128 tackles that year. Okay. If we go look at his 2022 stats. Okay. Look at this. Says 89 solo tackles, but again, the total together was 129, basically, if you count the assisted. Okay. 7 tackles for a loss, which that does not show there. Does not show that. But he does have 7 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, 4 passes defended, and 2 interceptions as well. Okay. Pretty impressive for in a 2022 year. Okay, 4 fumbles. There it is. 2 interceptions. Perfect. All right. So had his best year in 2022. All right. I think now with this guy on board, I think that obviously the Panthers defense has to become a force to be reckoned with again. He's already gonna join some guys, right? He's joining Sean Robinson, Shaq Thompson, Derek Brown, and then could be joining with the likes of Jadeveon Clowney or DJ Wanum or Chase Young, or unless somehow Carolina just signs all 3 of them, which would be insane, but that would never happen. But they're trying to build this team back that can compete, right? And they're trying to do it without breaking the bank. Okay, that's part of the rebuild. You don't want to break the bank yet. Overall, great start to the free agent season, getting a guy like this, addressing the needs of replacing Frankie Luvu. Great linebacker who can kind of he's very versatile and can do it all. Frankie Luvu is just a different cat. All right, he does things differently. So this guy's better at the coverage, I would say, and better in the run game. He's more of that kind of a guy, fills his gaps, covers the tight end, or covers over the middle of the field, whichever way you're putting him. If you're running like a two Tampa, he's the middle guy. He probably could also be a QB spy kind of guy too. So we'll see if they add any more to the linebacker core. Yeah, because there's a lot of centers in the draft. Oh, there's definitely is. The linebacker you're really talking about, Clay. Oh, the Eagles wanted him. Well, too bad they can't have him now. I can see them still drafting a center. I do too. I think Zach Frazier's still going to be under their radar. I really do. One more valuable linebacker, please. Micah Hyde for cheap, please. I think he signed with somebody. I think Micah Hyde already signed with someone, I thought. Mm, it doesn't say as of right now. It doesn't say that he's signed yet. I thought he might have already signed, but it is what it is. All right, let's talk about Deontay Johnson and that signing. Let's get to that next. All right, so Deontay Johnson, here's his numbers from last year. All right. Now, here's the thing. I'm kind of going to go a little bit further into this whole Deontay Johnson thing because um, first off, I want to give this a grade. All right. Because of what he brings to the table. Okay. I'm going to give you a pretty good depth analysis because they swapped. So we swapped Dante Jackson and a pick, and they gave us Deontay Johnson and a pick, right? Okay. 51 receptions, 717 yards. His stats had been declining for 2 consecutive seasons. His effort was scrutinized. The Steelers were ready to reset at the receiver position. They need to boost at the cornerback after cutting Patrick Peterson. So the enter Dante Jackson, who is a reliable veteran. I could say he's reliable at least. Who has started 76 of his 80 career games. I think it's going to mesh well in that Steelers defense, honestly. I think Jackson played 16 games last season, matching his career high, which was impressive considering came off an Achilles injury in 2022. But the Steelers, for them, they saved $10 million in cap space. So by moving Johnson, right? By moving Johnson, that takes that Jackson's contract will take a chunk of that. Now, however, the Steelers have a fantastic track record of replenishing receivers throughout the draft. So they deserve the benefit of the doubt. They'll restock the position next month. After all, the starting quarterback, Russell Wilson or Kenny Pickett. If it's Wilson, all parties are invested in restructuring his game and setting up the veteran to finish his career in Pittsburgh. If it's Pickett, they'll want to give the young quarterback some help. But another way they won't just wing it at a receiver this offseason. So if you look at the Panthers' reasoning behind this trade, Jackson, a cornerback, had a $15.7 million cap hit, which means that the Panthers couldn't afford. They had to move Jackson's contract, got a dangerous receiver in return for Johnson, right? Now, Johnson, who's in a contract year, could be a vital part of this Panthers plan, obviously, to give help to Bryce Young. So if Johnson performs anywhere close to what he performed like in 2021, he'll help Bryce Young's development and become a dangerous asset to Dave Canales' offense. Okay. However, this trade has risk for the Panthers because Johnson's frustrations with the Steelers' offense were understandable. Okay. Over the past season, they fired their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, got inconsistent play out of Kenny Pickett and his backups. There's still an unknown element in Canales' first season with Young. How will Johnson handle it if they get off to a bumpy start? That's another thing to think about. I mean, the Panthers, again, we're coming off one of the worst seasons, not only in our history, but in NFL history. So investing that time and energy to develop Young, which should be the organization's top goal. So what's the verdict on this trade? Well, I gave this trade a B. Okay. And the reason why I guess gave it a B, I gave the B grade to us and the Steelers. I gave them a B as well. The Panthers, basically, they got a dangerous weapon, right? A dangerous receiver, right? In return for a player they couldn't afford to keep, but risk were involved. So the Steelers filled their need on the defense, but they're taking a gamble by resetting the receiver position, relying on the draft to restock that position. So only time will tell if this trade actually pans out the way that I think it's going to. Now, another thing with this is that another thing that is that it was a bold move, okay? And there's probably a lot of excitement, but there's a lot of skepticism amongst fans with this move, right? If we're taking a daring leap into this uncertainty with this whole thing with Deontay Johnson, obviously they were trying to add a dynamic playmaker or invite a type of figure to help out Bryce Young. Now, did they secure? The question here is I think that's what everybody's questioning is did they secure a dynamic playmaker, or did they invite a figure that is prone to a certain type of behavior? Obviously, the trade is set to be official with the start of the league year, right? A season, you get a season wide receiver. It's a gamble that hinges not only on Johnson's on-field performance, but it's also the ability to mesh with this team and culture dynamics. Okay. So the thing is that what I'm getting at is that the Carolina's decision to pursue Johnson speaks volumes about their dire need of offensive weapons. Last season, you saw Bryce Young face relentless pressure due to the lack of the receiver options. Again, we had 2 of the top 10 worst wide receivers of creating separation. Number 2 on that list out of the top 10 was Jonathan Mingo, your rookie that you drafted out of Ole Miss last year. Then you got DJ Chark, who you brought in on a 1-year deal from free agency. He was number 10 on that list. So despite the concerns about Johnson's temperament, the Panthers couldn't afford to be overly selective. They prioritized a raw talent over issues like teamwork and attitude, hoping to inject some much-needed spark to their offense. The trade itself doesn't break the bank for Carolina, though. Dante Jackson, along with a late-round pick, heads to Pittsburgh in exchange for Johnson, a late pick. Johnson's entering his final year of his contract, his production showing signs of decline. But again, the Steelers were willing to part ways, and it's a low-risk opportunity for us. Okay? So, again, now I will say this. And let's talk about his journey real quick. In the NFL, he's been marked by flashes of brilliance and moments of controversy, right? 5'10", 183 pounds. He's proven himself to be a formidable threat on the field. Look at his stats in 2021. However, there are concerns about his attitude that have followed him, reports of clashing with teammates, mood swings surfacing in recent seasons. When asked, I've seen some reporters' opinions out there. Some label him a pain in the ass, both on the field and off. Just not a demeanor that you want. Yet, a lot of other people commend his ability, his playmaking ability, highlighting his agility, his speed, how valuable he is as an asset. But if you take a glance at Johnson's stats over the years, he's obviously capable of making an impact when given the opportunity, right? His breakout rookie season, which was 2019, I mean, he had 680 yards, 5 touchdowns in his rookie season. All right. So I hope that Carolina and that Johnson can recapture that form that we saw in 2019, but also in 2022. In 2020, 21. But then obviously he was on the decline because, of course, we all know that because of the fact that of the poor quarterback play. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be any better with Bryce Young because we don't know. I don't think we truly know what Bryce Young's going to do yet. I'm 50-50 on the kid. There's some people here that don't believe in him, and there's some people that do believe him. Again, I'm 50-50 on the kid. If you get him some help, he pans out, great. If he doesn't, then we know, hey, guess what? He's not the guy. All right. But again, what this guy brings to the table, he brings aggression onto the field. He may not be the most physical, imposing player out there, but he always gives it his all. And he's very aggressive on the field. Another thing that he brings to the table as a wide receiver, he's explosive. Okay. All right. That's something we lacked in an offense out of playmakers last year. So his ability to make sharp cuts, his ability to make people miss on the field will assist this team greatly. Okay. He's very good at adapting and moving off press coverage, especially over intermediate routes. He's not an elite burner, but he's got game speed. He's got game speed and it's solid. Okay. It's solid. Okay. And finally, the thing is he just gets open. He's a slick route runner who knows how to use his leverage to his advantage. He's exactly what we need in this offense, as if you're looking for a wide receiver, in the circumstances that we are. So, if you go to ESPN, you can go see the open score, which takes into account routes ran, success rate, against various coverages. So if you go check that out, he's ranked number 1 league wide over the last 3 seasons. So he knows how to separate quickly and make a quarterback's life easier. So if you don't know, if you didn't know about him, now you do. All right. Now you do. So it was a win of a trade for us for sure. What would you think if we traded up with our 33rd pick and like a 4th or 5th round and took I mean, AJ, again, I think that we need to keep as much draft capital as possible. So, as much as I would love to go get Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon, I just don't know if trading up, taking 2 draft picks is the right move when you can get a Zach Frazier or you can take a chance on a Van Pran in the 3rd or 4th round. And I'd rather just go that route. You know what I mean? You could still get Jake Nugent in the later rounds, and we know how good that offensive line was there in Michigan. So I don't see the point of trading up. I just don't. I think we need to keep as much draft capital as possible. This was a very good trade, in my opinion. We were losing D-Jack anyways. Exactly. I mean, you were already going to release the guy. So, you might as well trade him and get the value out of him, which I said in the first place they needed to do instead of cutting him. But now we don't have to worry about his $15 million contract, and we only have to worry about his, which is way cheaper than what we were going to pay Dante Jackson. If he's good, sounds good, won't go up. We're with a 4th and a 5th, I think. Great trade. Good front office, gets value when losing a guy, yeah. Alex Smith. Can we get a grade on Josie Jewell too? I would probably give Josie Jewell. I would probably give Josie Jewell signing. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna be fair, and I'll give it a C. I'll give it a C. Not a C minus, not a C plus, not a B. I think maybe in the middle of the road, let's go C plus. All right, middle of the road, C plus. Obviously, has worked with Evero in the past. There's that benefit there, right? So he knows the 3-4 defense. He's only played 6 seasons. I don't know if there's an injury history there, but which I don't think there is. If we're going to go look at Josie Jewell, I don't think there's an injury history. I think he's been healthy all the 6 seasons he's played. So if we go back 6 seasons, 2017, did he play 2016? Well, when was he drafted? 2018? Oh, shit. I'm way too far back. Okay. If we're, Josie Jewell, drafted in 2018, 4th round pick, 2019, 2020. Great year in 2020. 2021, really good year in 2021, but was that just one? Oh, he might have actually did get injured here. He might have actually did get injured. So what season did he get injured? Looks like 2021 he only got injured. So 1 year he got injured. Okay. But the both games he was playing he was having a phenomenal year in 2021. So I think a C plus. I mean, you got a guy. I mean, he's 29 years old, which is crazy to me. He's only been in the league for 6 years. He's 29, which means he got drafted when he was 23, which tells me he played a long time at Iowa. I'd say a C plus. He's going to fill the void that we need, at least for now, unless we get someone better, unless he just pans out. I mean, it's a win-win situation for us. So I'd say a C plus. I'd say it's a C plus. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, Alex Smith, he'll definitely start in Pittsburgh for sure. That's good. Little Jordan Fitz, Sean Payton system. Trying to see what everybody's saying in there. It could be. What up, JP? Panthers tender contract to Raheem Blackshear. That is no more. That is no more excuses for Bryce. Exactly. There's not. Again, you got it. This is the real this season right now. If they go in, they draft a center, they get that wide receiver, they fill the voids where they need. Let's say they fill the voids where they need it. They get him that tight end. He goes out there and just dumps the bed. Then yeah, Carolina's killing it with the free agent signings. I think so too, Timmy. I think so too. Y'all know I like Bryce. He's gonna ball out. I would not draft 5'10". I would not draft 5'10", but let's see. Steelers fans are seething. Yep. Clear DJ cap. Yep. Any Von Bell trade? We overpaid him. Yeah, I haven't heard any Von Bell trade. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. If they kind of do the same thing with what they did with Dante Jackson with Von Bell. I also won't be surprised if they do with Adam Thielen, guys. I'm serious. I really think that the Adam Thielen could be they could take a veteran like him and trade him. Again, this is a rebuild. A 33-year-old Adam Thielen is not going to be part of a rebuild. And I think also TMJ is also going to be traded as well. So I won't be surprised. Good thing Joel had his best season under Evero. Yep, he did. Man, don't sleep on Joel. Go look at the grades. Not a ton different from Luvu. Much cheaper. Yeah, it's not like a massive thing. It's not a massive upgrade, but it's not not much of a downgrade either. Right in the middle. How's it going, Ropp? Report. Heard of any Panthers channels? YouTube always bashing Bryce. How do you feel about Bryce going into the future? Confident or not? A lot of confidence. I'm 50-50, Trebo. Like I said, last season the guy had 2 of the worst wide receivers creating separation. He also had one of the worst offensive line in football. Had over 40 pressures, 62 sacks. They couldn't run the ball, so that didn't help taking any pressure off of him. He had more voices in his head than Randy Orton. The scheme didn't fit the offensive line. It didn't fit the offense. It just didn't fit the offense at all. You had a meddling owner. You had a GM that couldn't adequately bring in talent through the draft or free agency. You had a head coach that wasn't willing to change the scheme up for him. You had coaches texting the owner, and basically it was just a big old mess last year, right? So it's hard for me to say that Bryce is not it when there were so many factors involved between not only on the field but off the field, in the front office, in the coaching room. And then of course the talent on the team was not ready to win. We were told that this team was ready to win last year by a guy who screwed us over with that screwed our cap space up, screwed us over in draft picks, guys he drafted. It was just a big old screw job between Scott Fitter and David Tepper. It's just been a big old screw job. So again, I'm more confident now with Brant Tillis, Dan Morgan, Canales. Seems like they're actually getting to do the football operations that we've been wanting them to do for the longest time. So, but this is Bryce's year to prove to everybody that, okay, they went out, they got me some help. Now it's time for me to show them that I can actually win in the NFL if I have the adequate tools to do so. It's the same thing with like any organization, whether you're a software engineer or you're a sales or marketing person. You have to have certain tools to be able to do your job adequately, right? So when a company offers you a job, you expect them to give you the tools to, to do it. So to do the job, it just takes you to put the effort in to do the job though as well. But at the same time, you have to have the tools. So at the end of the day, I'm going to give Bryce this year, and hopefully he can step up, and hopefully he can pan out. And we have to hope he does, because if he doesn't, then we have to go out into the draft and find another guy. And that's not the easiest thing to do. So Pickett, I think he is starting. I got some news for him. If Pickett thinks he's starting, I got some news for him. Oh, I bet you do, Matt Chatter. Chad, that's Evero's guy. Yep. Mason Rudolph to Pittsburgh here. I don't know. I've heard that he's heading to, I think that they might probably bring him back. What's up, JP? What are you drinking, Clay? Protein drink? Yeah, I'm drinking a protein shake. Add him to the Chiefs, in my opinion. Could be. Zero surprise if another team wants a route technician, Hunter Ripper retreat replacement. I mean, they could. Again, that's what I'm saying. Like, Adam Thielen is going to get, I just don't see him. I don't see him being in Carolina again this year because, again, he's probably only going to play maybe a year, maybe two after at best. And then he's done. Like, he's not going to be part of this rebuilding process. I just don't see it. But who knows? We like Bryce here until further notice, make or break, I think. Exactly, Matt Chatter. That's kind of what I'm at with it. Trade TMJ to the Aints for a pot of gumbo. I'm down. I've been down there and had some of their gumbo. That shit's fire. I thought Von Bell was already cut. I think I think it was like the same thing with Dante Jackson, JP. See, technically, these guys that we are saying that we're going to cut or release, they're technically not yet because of today at 4 p.m., right? So I think that's how it works, so they could make a trade with Von Bell from here till 4 p.m. I think after 4 p.m., then he's truly cut. I think that's how it works, JP. Don't say that, Jay. That's cheating. I would love to get Renfro, bring him back to the Carolinas. He's from Myrtle Beach. Hunter Renfro is from Socastee, which is basically Myrtle Beach. He went to the high school. I know the high school he went to is 15 minutes down the road from my house. He broke an NFL record is what I meant to say. You know how to talk to text. Oh, I know how that is. Yeah. Yeah, not until 4 p.m. Yep, yep. Adam ain't free, big boy. We already getting something back. He's already paid. Yeah, I mean, we got to get something back for him, right? I got you, but Bills fans second, and Mahomes always owns Allen. True. That's true, Matt Chatter. Everybody's worried about the people we're losing on defense, but you got to think this is who Evero inherited. He's just trying to get his style of guys in here. I mean, that could be a case too. You can make the case for that. Damn. Matt Chatter, if we get a third round for Adam Thielen, I would shit my pants. Yeah, what's up, Toxic Black? Adam very valuable to Bryce. Is he a crutch? I think he's valuable. I just don't think he's gonna be. He wants to be here for. I mean, he's again, guys. He's 33 years old. It makes no sense for him to be here. He's gonna probably play 2 more years, and then that's it. So I think he's more valuable elsewhere. Toxic got that W. Kirk Cousins swagger stepping in. Yeah, you got Kirko Chains in there. Kirko Chains. That's what I call him. Yeah, I would like the Renfro move. I would like the Renfro move. We've been making some moves, man. We've been making some moves. I like the direction we're going. I like the direction we're going. I like the moves that we're making. All right. Simple as that. Okay, Chase Young. He's making a visit today. Chase Young's making a visit today here in Carolina. So Chase Young last year had 10 sacks, 1 assisted. But again, guys, he's not Brian Burns. He's not Brian Burns, man. So we shouldn't go out and get him. Had 10 sacks last year. 10 sacks last year. How many games did he play? But that was with Washington. He played 8 games, 6 games with Washington, and he played all 8 games, 9 games, whatever it was, with San Francisco. Okay. But had 10 sacks. Okay. 66 total tackles. But let's not pay a guy a 1-year, $13 million contract because he's not Brian Burns. I want Chase Young signed today. Me too. Had 10 sacks last year. So, but it's not Brian Burns, man. It's not Brian Burns. Because, again, we got people who are player-loving fans. Again, the NFL is a business at the end of the day. So, I think you got to sign a guy like this. The thing is about him is that he fits the scheme that we're going to be running here. That's the thing. The 3-4 defense, he fits right into what Evero is going to be doing. And I can tell you right now, if we get a hit, Chase Young, if we can get this guy and he stays healthy, he will dominate. And you think that you thought Brian Burns was good? Chase Young will be better than Brian Burns if he stays healthy. He will make Brian Burns look like a chump. I'm telling you this. Because look at what Chase Young has done when I think he got injured his rookie year. No, he didn't get injured his rookie year. He got injured his 2021 season. And then he played the final 3 games in the 2022 season when he came off of that. Okay. So this is his stats. This is off of his rookie season. 33 tackles, 3 assisted, 6 sacks, 5 forced fumbles. So let's go look at Brian Burns. So I'm probably going to make some people mad here in a second. I'm going to make some people mad. All right, let's go look at his rookie season. Okay, Brian Burns. So here's Brian Burns' rookie season. 12 tackles, 2 assisted, 8 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Again, you go look at Chase Young's 33 solo tackles, 3 assisted, 6 sacks. Less sacks, but more forced fumbles, more assisted tackles, and more solo tackles. Because guess what Chase Young does? He's good against the run. He's good against the run. All right, but he fits that outside linebacker position. He fits in the 3-4 defense in the outside linebacker position. That's just when he came back after those 3 games. And then last year played a full season. So again, if this guy can stay healthy, he got 10 sacks last year. There's no telling what he can do if he plays a full season and stays healthy. So, of course, the Panthers are not only interested in him. Of course, the Saints are also are in the mix. So we got some tough competition. But if the Panthers can land Young, I think they'll have a powerful weapon on their defense that can help them compete. Compete again. So, and he's only 25 years old. He's going to be 25 here soon. He's going to be 25 here soon. So, in another month. So, we'll see if they can bring him in, can actually bring him in. So, again, Brian Burns only had 8 sacks last year. Yes, Miss Ran. He only had 8, but they want to pay him $30 million a year. Makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense, though, right? So hold on now. You would rather pay Burns $30 million or Young $13 million? I'd rather pay Young $13 million for a 1-year contract and take the chance that he stays healthy and he can get me 10 plus sacks every year after that. He's only 25. I'd rather take that. I'm taking Chase Young all day. Again, in this 3-4 defense, he's a better fit anyways on the outside linebacker position. Brian Burns is better off the edge. He's better with his hands in the dirt. He's better as an edge rusher, and he doesn't fit in what Evero's doing. He's not an outside linebacker. He's a defensive end. He's better off off the edge. So I think that Chase Young would fit right in too. So again, I'd rather pay him a 1-year contract for $13 million and roll the dice and see if he can stay healthy for a full season and can bring me those 10 plus sacks. So yeah, Randall, I'm not paying Burns 30 million. 13. Paying him 13 million. Let's get Young 2 years, 17 million. He's injury prone. That's a good contract, Mad Chatter. I'd like that in a contract for sure. Saints ain't doing nothing. They might. Saints got monopoly money. They're going to offer him a ton. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the thing. I think Chase Young might take, if they offer him more money, he might take it. That's the only thing, but hopefully not. I say Young also better fit for sure. The only thing the Panthers have over the Saints is we're going to pay the trash tax. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Saints are going offer $1 today for a restructure later. Oh, AJ, you make a good point with that, especially with the fact that they're in cap purgatory. And I don't even know if they've made any moves to really get off the cap purgatory that they're in. So they might not even be able to afford Chase. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to afford Chase Young. Miss Rand says Young. All right, cool. I got to agree with you on Young, Clay, for sure. For sure. All right, we got another guy coming in today. DJ Wanum. I don't think I spelled his name right. Former South Carolina Gamecock. Cox by 90. We're going to review him too. We're going to review Jadeveon today. So this guy, another guy, 6'5", 258, 4th round pick. Minnesota got him 2020. draft class, the same draft class as Chase Young. So DJ Wanum out of South Carolina is taking a visit today as well. I like this too. This could be a guy that could replace like a, YGM, because I'm glad that he's going to come visit Charlotte, but he is going to go visit Chicago as well. He had his breakout season. I want to say his breakout season maybe was this year, but I want to say it was 2020. No, he didn't break. Well, that's when he came out in 2020. Well, he had he had 3 sacks there. 2021, 8 sacks there. 2022, 5 sacks. So really, I would say this year was his breakout season. He had over basically between the assisted tackles totaled up 36, 53 tackles. He had over 6 quarterback hits, 23 hurries, 9 sacks, 32 stops, total pressures. He's got 38. All right. So who exactly is DJ Wanum? All right. He played in college at the University of South Carolina. He played 4 years with, he was a 4-year starter with us in South Carolina. He racked up 37 tackles for a loss and 14 sacks in college. Got picked up by the Vikings in the 4th round, played 14 games as a rookie, primarily on special teams, but also saw some action on the defense. And that year he recorded, I think it said 13 tackles. Okay. 16 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 passes defended, 1 forced fumble. So, he was heading into his 2nd year in 2021 and was expected to play a more significant role on the Vikings defense, but he did not disappoint. He had 11 starts, 8 sacks. We're 2nd on the team behind Daniel Hunter. He's a versatile pass rusher, man. He makes him an attractive option for the Panthers. He's 6'5", again, 258 pounds. He has the size. He's got the strength to play defensive end. He's better fit. He can play defensive end in a 4-3 scheme, but he also has the athleticism and speed to rush the passer, I think, for a stand-up position in the 3-4 scheme. So, of course, there's always risk when signing a free agent like Wanum. Now, Wanum's coming off a great season. Could have been a fluke, but he could regress in a new system with new teammates. Who knows? But it's clear we need help on the defensive ball, right? Wanum has the potential, I think, to be a difference maker, and I'd like to see him here. If we can't get, maybe Chase Young, or if we can't get Jadeveon Clowney. And then speaking of another Gamecock that's coming here is Jadeveon Clowney. Now, a lot of people hate on Clowney, man. Clowney, I think, has had his fair share of ups and downs in the NFL for sure. When he got drafted in 2014, and they mainly had him over there in they had him as an outside linebacker, and they moved him around in his first season. They had him at left linebacker, right linebacker. And then if you go to his premium stats that year when he actually had a decent year in 2015, he played he stayed in the same position in the right linebacker. All right. So that was his breakout year the next season. 2016, basically the same thing. 6 sacks, right? 2017, 8 sacks. 2018, 9 sacks. 2019, 3. 2020 was not a great year for him. 2021, 11 sacks. 2022, 3 sacks. But little inconsistencies here and there, but the guy is a force to be reckoned with. I thought he would have a better career in the NFL, and it just never really panned out. But nonetheless, we are setting our eyes set for this guy. Rock Hill, South Carolina native. If you're not familiar with Clowney, obviously just go look up the Michigan hit. That'll refresh your memory. He was the number one overall pick by the Houston Texans back in the 2014 draft. Spent some time in Houston, spent some time in Seattle, most recently with the Baltimore Ravens. Again, he's just had an up-down career. Last season was with the Ravens. He had one of the best years of his career with the Ravens last year. And 2020 though was probably not 2020. I would say 2021 was his best year. I definitely want to say 2021 was his best year. But again, now some may argue that the Panthers' biggest needs are still on the offensive side of the ball, and that's true. But I'm saying let's go look at that in the draft, right? The front office is all about the interior. It's all about the trenches. That's what they've done, right? Okay, so now they got to focus on the defense though, because you trade away Brian Burns, you trade away, you didn't let Bluvu go. Bluvu decided to leave, even though we offered him more money. Yetter Gross Matos. So that's 66% of the team sacks right there from last season. So that's a lot of pressure on the remaining players. You bring in Clowney. He could be that key to the turning point that the Panthers defense into hopefully bring some of that force to be reckoned with, bring back some of those sacks, right? I would love to bring Clowney and Young in this situation. And you get two guys that had 10 sacks last year, right? More than double of what Brian Burns brought last year. And you pay him cheaper. Plus, he's a local guy. So you could be getting that homecoming of sorts, right? So what's not loved about that with Jadeveon Clowney? Of course, the big question is how much will it cost to sign Clowney? Now, if we go to Spot Tracker, which I'm going to go over to right now. So we go to Spot Tracker. We share this. His market value is at $7.2 million. Okay. So his estimated market value is at $7.2 million per year. But who knows what kind of offers he'll receive from other teams. However, I think the Panthers have more than enough money available to sign him to a 1-year deal. Okay, if they really want to sweeten that deal, they could offer a front-loaded 2-year contract. It's definitely possible. All in all, the Panthers are definitely interested in Clowney, and I think that's exciting news, at least for me as myself as a Panthers fan, but a Gamecock fan. All right. Jadeveon Clowney is also visiting. Would you rather have Young or Clowney? Miss Ran, I would probably rather have Young, right? Because he's the younger guy, a lot of higher upside. You would have to pay him more money, right? But in the long run, we're doing a full rebuild here. So you're thinking about longevity, right? Bringing in Clowney is just you're bringing him in for the void of that year until you find a replacement. So I'd rather just go ahead and I would rather get Chase Young, but I would love to have both of them. Bring Clowney in for a year who can obviously get that pass rush. You bring Young in. If he can stay healthy, he can dominate. So but if I'm picking between the two, I'm taking Young. Saints and cap hell every year, but still manage to spend players. I know, man. They've been doing it for years since the Drew Brees day. We better not sign Chase Young. So Rock Jones is not on the train. I'm on the train, but that's just me. Was my contract overpaying? I don't think so. If you're talking about the one for Young, no. Young only met with us and the Saints. How is it even possible then sign him with the cap situation they're in? I just don't know. Somehow it's the same thing that I didn't think we were going to be able to afford Robert Hunt. Look what happened there. I'd sign them both too, Josh. I'm all about it. Well, we definitely could, Bat Chatter. We definitely could. I'm vouching. You'd like to see Hunter and Chase Young? Well, Daniel Hunter is on his way to the Houston Texans, Marcos Cash. Yeah, I mean, you can make the case for that, Randall. You can make the case for that. Luke Holmes is deep in his feelings. I saw that yesterday. That was crazy. That was crazy, AJ Brooks. Blackshear just tendered. Okay. Clowney is a sack hit man for hire at this point. I'm with it. I'm with it though, for sure. I mean, I don't know who else we're gonna sign. I mean, unless y'all just want to rely on Amari Barno and DJ Johnson and Iku Liate and whoever else is back there. You guys can, if you all want to rely on them, you go right ahead. But I'm not. Now Washington's problem, what to do with Chin. They'll figure it out. Watch. I'll be pissed too. Jerry Hughes, anything left in the tank? No. John Ellis just posted Javion kindly reported consideration to join the Panthers, had a stellar 2023 season. That would be great. $7 million is a lot for limited Clowney. I mean, again, if you bring in Clowney, you bring in Chase, you get 2 pass rushers that had 10 sacks last year. Both fit the mold of the 3-4 defense at the outside linebacker position. I don't see why not. I just don't see why that's a problem. You sign them both to 1-year contracts. You basically are signing Chase Young to prove it that he can stay healthy. And if he does, great. It works out. Right? 2-year contract sounds good for sure. Clowney's a rent to Burns kind of old. Damn. Rent to Burns. That's fucked up. Mad Chatter. It's fucked up. I'm with it. Thumbs up. Nice, Miss Rand. I appreciate that. Constant torture. 20 sacks versus 8 sacks. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, people don't realize that you could go out and get 2 guys probably for the same price as Burns, and you could have had double the sacks, triple the sacks almost. But people want to sign one guy who had 8 sacks last year. I wouldn't rely solely on them, but Barno was really good, has really good upside. He does, Chad. I just wish that he could use that speed to his advantage, but I just don't know what his issue is. I don't know if it's strength or he just doesn't, or he's a run trick pony, right? At that point, you start playing competitive ball again, for sure. Maybe Young and draft. Yeah, I mean, that could be a possibility. I think Adrian Cooper would fit right in. I think if you get a guy like Chop Robinson or a guy like an Adrian Cooper in the draft, would fit right in there. I'd love if you could get both of those guys. I would fall in love with this team if you could get a Chop Robinson and Adrian Cooper. If you're looking in the draft, I mean, these are the 2 guys. If we're gonna go for a pass rusher, if we're going to go for a pass rusher, I want Chop Robinson. Okay. All right. I want to get Chop Robinson, and another guy I want is Adrian Cooper at Texas A&M. I like both of them. Young and maybe Young in the draft. So yeah, I mean, if we go Young, you can either get it like I'd love to either add Adrian Cooper. If I can get at least one of these guys, I'd love to get both. I doubt I get both. I can't have my cake and eat it too, but I'd love to get both of those guys. We do have 2 seconds. I think you can get Adrian Cooper in the 3rd. So if you wanted to go Chop and then go wide receiver, or if you want to go Chop, Adrian Cooper, get your wide receiver in the 3rd. Whatever the case may be. Yeah, I could use him on passing downs for sure. So, again, it would be great to get both those guys. So, lots of good news. Barno weak as a milk-soaked frosted flakes. Man, I tell you what, man, we've had some players on this team that, like I've said before, and I'll say it again, we've had players on this team that are about as useless as a screen door on a submarine. That's what I like to say. We've had guys that are about as useless as a screen door on a submarine on this team. So it is what it is. So as of right now, not much is going on in the NFL for the Carolina Panthers. Doesn't look like anything except they announced they fully re-signed Troy Hill on a 1-year deal. And that the tender running backs, kick returner Raheem Blackshear, who has exclusive rights to free agency, but we haven't heard anything else as of right now. Haven't heard anything else as of right now. So, at least from a Carolina Panthers standpoint. So there's a lot of other things going on. A lot of other teams are making moves right now. So I'll be surprised if we make any more. I mean, I won't be surprised if we make any more moves today, but I won't be surprised if we don't. I wonder if we might just take a sit back today and kind of chill out. So I hope Canales uses Blackshear. I hope he does too. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to hop off of here. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound the like button, subscribe to the channel, whether you're watching on Twitter, TikTok, or if you're watching on Instagram, or you're watching on Facebook, wherever you're watching. Make sure you come on over to the YouTube channel, though, and make sure you pound that like button and subscribe. So I'm hopping off. If there's something that crazy happens in the next couple hours, I'll hop back on and we'll discuss it. But other than that, we discussed the Deontay Johnson trade. We discussed Josie Jewell and Ashawn Robinson coming here. We talked about the two, Jadeveon Clowney, Chase Young, DJ Wanham visiting. So, guys, all I have to say is this in closing words. I have some closing words. All right. It's exciting to try to make this as exciting as you can, because this year going into this next season, it's not going to be fun. Okay. But what we're doing right now is building for the future. It's crystal clear to me what this team is doing. Okay. So for all of you that are out there that aren't optimistic with these moves, you should be, or it's because you clearly don't see what is going on. Right. And it's hard not to see why, though. That's what surprises me, because we had a rough go last season. Again, we had one of the worst offensive performances in 2023. And what was the biggest issue? The need for quality interior offensive linemen. And guess what they did? They got you 2 of them. Okay. The most talented quarterbacks who have struggled under immense pressure. Okay. A lot of them do. And then what happens when that team fixes that problem? They go out and ball. Look at Jalen Hurts, for example. Look at what Trevor Lawrence, when they fixed it. When they got help, they were able to move the ball. Right? Jalen Hurts came into a situation with a great offensive line. All right. So that's a different situation. Trevor Lawrence didn't. Okay. So the Panthers obviously are looking to turn things around. Okay. All right. So, yeah, they're adding pieces. Okay. They are retooling a little bit, but this is a full rebuild. They're not signing guys. You don't see them signing these guys for long-term deals. You're seeing them signing for 2-3-year contracts. So the trade with Deontay Johnson, you only have to, you're paying him, you're paying less money for him than you are Dante Jackson. So that clears cap space. But if so far they've had a solid free agency up to this point, if they continue to build up within the trenches, which I think is the vision here, right? I think that's their vision. They may just find themselves back into contention. Now, I wouldn't say this year, But I will say maybe the year that maybe they could win the NFC South, maybe not next year, but in 2025, right? Maybe in Bryce's third year, right? Unless he doesn't pan out, then we got to talk. Then that's another discussion for another day to have. But at least right now, we can build around our rookie quarterback. We can rebuild that defense to that fits that 3-4 scheme and see where the future takes us. All right. So again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. I'm going to hop off of here. Make sure you pen the like button, subscribe wherever you're joining today. And as always, guys, y'all know what to do. Keep pounding. Peace.